when the Minnesota Vikings hired Brian Flores to be their defense coordinator, the question was he going to bring any of his assistants with him to help install his defense and hit the ground running? That was broached in the press conference on Wednesday. Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt, go. Brian Flores was asked today whether he will be adding any assistants to the Vikings defensive staff. His response: "We're still very early in the process, and conversations are ongoing." That's code for yes. And a name that makes a ton of sense is Josh Boyer. And Boyer was Brian Flores' defensive coordinator when Flores was the Dolphins head coach, as well as Boyer did retain the job this season under Mike McDaniels. Didn't go the way that everyone planned, but it sort of is what it is. And he is currently a coaching free agent. And Josh Boyer is 46. He bounced around from small colleges starting in 2000 before landing on the Patriots staff in 2006. Won 3 Super Bowls as a Patriots assistant. Worked his way up from a defensive assistant to DB coach to cornerbacks coach. Seems like a specialty that the Vikings could certainly use. And then followed Flores to the Dolphins in 2019. Served as DC under Flores for 2 seasons. And then, like we said, remained with the Dolphins this year. The Dolphins defense sort of reverted. So their zenith, their peak was 2020. And this season, it just simply did not work out. And then he was replaced with Vic Fangio. But overall, he is highly regarded as a defensive assistant. And he may have been sitting out this hiring cycle despite interest, because he was probably waiting to see where Flores is going to end up. If Flores potentially got the Arizona Cardinals head coaching job, or if he got the DC job here in Minnesota or in Denver, where he was also linked. And currently the Viking staff. So on the defensive side of the ball, it still remains relatively intact. Alik Terry, the assistant defensive line coach, has left. But overall, I do potentially see some changes. Like if the Vikings let go of Durante Jones and Roy Anderson, I wouldn't be shocked at all, because the secondary was the weak spot of the Vikings defense this year. And if they do bring in a guy like Josh Boyer to be either DB coach or a senior defensive assistant or whatever, I think it would make a lot of sense, because it's something that Flores has worked with before and is going to help install this defense the way that Flores wants it run. And you need that. And beyond just coaches, I think that players that have familiarity with the scheme being added as value free agents, I think that does make a lot of sense as well. Look at guys like Eric Rowe, look at guys like Nick Needham in terms of cornerbacks, and I think that's something that we're going to see very quickly. So I do think Brian Flores bringing in Josh Boyer does make a ton of sense. That's probably why it won't happen. But either way, even though Boyer, he got a bad rap this year as DC of the Dolphins, it just sort of is what it is. I think that given his specialty in the defensive backfield, his history working with Flores, I think can only mean good things if they add him to the staff. But your thoughts are thoughts. Will Brian Flores bring in Josh Boyer on the defensive staff? Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. We'll support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.